Testing. Hey, welcome to the Afrocentric Woman. Thank you for tuning in. I think I'm on here. Trying to work this. Can you hear me? That just tuned in. Let me know if you can hear me. Welcome. Oh, let me pull this up on my phone too. Oh yeah, I guess I could see if I can hear myself. I just want to make sure I can be heard before I get into it. Oh crap. I'm not gonna be able to do both things at one time because I'm about to play this audio. Hey girl, hey. Hey MJB, can you hear me? Okay, perfect. All right, let's get into it. Okay, we have another struggle bandit that has reared his ugly head. I'm not reacting to the struggle bandits. I'm reacting to y'all reacting because y'all care. So since y'all care, I'm gonna give my commentary because I don't care. I don't care what struggle bandits do. Like they wake up on the wrong side of the bed. I don't care. But I saw a lot of y'all really did. Okay, let me let this commercial play out. So I'm gonna play the audio. I don't know if it's gonna get flagged, but I'm gonna play the audio that people was listening to earlier today. Um, and having lives about and things. Um, play. Okay, let's see where we at. Before you pray. Oh Lord, here goes another video. I mean another. You are about to talk to someone. And let me. Okay. There's two things, bro. Can you hear this? One is, I was wondering because I have interracial relationship friends. I have people that are in interracial relationships, married in interracial relationships. I love them. Okay, and let me just back up a little bit because I want to hear the other struggle bandits questions too. It's so hilarious when they try to sound smart and they be sounding stupid as hell. Like, even when they try their darndest to sound smart, they be sounding stupid. Okay. So it's basically the same situation as Godfrey. I mean, it's just the same thing again. An underperforming black male complaining about interracial dating because they don't like seeing imagery of black women with white men or black women with other races. He doesn't like the fact that somebody that he knows supposedly is encouraging black women to expand their options. Now, I really feel like as a collective of Black women, we need a deeper understanding of narcissism because I see so many of us trying to rationalize and understand, um, trying to make sense and trying to reason with these struggle bandits, and it's impossible. You're never going to be able to do that because it's inherently confusing, and it's supposed to, because when people are in a state of confusion, they're very easy to control, right? So when you know the rules of the game, you can win. You have the ability to win when you know the rules of the game. But when you don't know the rules of the game and the rules are constantly changing, the standards are changing, the objective is changing, the information is conflicting, you don't have a playbook, you don't have a referee, you can't win. You understand? And so the person who actually knows the rules, they're the ones who are going to win. And that's exactly what's happening with black males. There are no rules to engagement as it pertains to them. Everything is all over the place, and ultimately they won't tell you what the end game is, but the end game is your destruction in many cases, your subjugation and your servitude. That is their end game. They'll tell you that they want marriage, they'll tell you that they want family, they'll tell you that they care about the community, but none of their actions. Hold on, let me get my little one situated. Hold on, y'all. Okay, y'all, I'm back. So, so yeah, they'll tell you that they want all these things, but their actions are not in alignment with those things. And so you will be fixated as to what they say, but they are doing something totally different than what they just said. And then they'll say something that will contradict something that they just said. And I think that some of the frustration that Black women feel is that they can't make sense of what these individuals are saying and what they're doing and how they're acting and how they're behaving and their impact, and they don't like take accountability for their actions as it pertains to the community. And I'm here to say that you're never going to make sense of it. It's always going to confuse you because it's meant to confuse you. They within themselves have an internal chaotic uh, atmosphere. It's a chaotic environment inside of them, inside of their minds, inside of their beings. They are chaotic and irrational and illogical and confused. They themselves are confused. They're disgruntled and they haven't quite figured out why. Even when you tell them, this is why you're disgruntled, this is why you're not happy, this is why you're not succeeding, they still will not embrace that. They still will not understand that. They still will not try to make sense of it for themselves. So they will be confusing and you cannot make sense of them. And I think that if we could just understand and accept, hey, you know what? I'm never going to get this guy figured out. This group, this collective group of underdeveloped Black males, I will never be able to figure them out. And I am going to just be at peace with that within myself. Because for me, I'm going to seek clarity in my own life. And my actions will line up as to what I want to do. My words will line up with what I'm trying to do. My energy will line up with what I'm trying to do. You're going to be confused by yourself. I will not engage in your confusion. I will not try to reason with you because you are unreasonable and dangerous and violent. It would behoove all of us not to try to engage with violent, belligerent people. That at the snap of a dime, it's like you go from being a queen to being a hoe. If you, God forbid, reject them. So, you're unstable, you are irrational, illogical, and very twisted. And it's just like I have come to the conclusion that I have my what I believe is a man. I have my qualities as to what I look for in men and the men that I company with. And honestly, by and large, it is in stark contrast as to what African American males deem as acceptable manhood. I don't subscribe to any of the stuff that they do. None of the standards that you guys have, well, the non-existent standards that you have, like being loud, being belligerent, lifting weights, none of that matters to me. Okay. And over here on my channel, we care about provisions. Okay. That's what we care about over here. So all that blah, 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 I don't, it sounds like Charlie Brown's teacher. The womp 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 womp. That's how it sounds to me. I don't compute any of that stuff. I don't care. The things that you're selling, I'm not buying. You're trying to sell me something that I'm not buying. I'm not buying the shit that you're selling. I don't want it. I'm not even going to the marketplace looking for it. I don't want your peen. I don't want your dysfunction. I don't want your moving the goalposts. I don't want your loudness. I don't want your, belligerency. The fact that you don't the idea of providing for women, it repulses these people. Like it repulses them. It really, really does. And so that's fine, you know, because there's plenty of people that are, there's plenty of females that are going to accommodate your, underachievement. I'm not one of them. And the ladies over here, we don't do that. That's just not what we're into over here. So, this is just like 2.0. It's like one struggle bandit the last month, and then here's a new one. And I feel like this host brought up this very inflammatory topic for the purposes of trying to go viral. And we constantly have these visceral reactions every time some random struggle dusty crawls from underneath a rock of obscurity and says something disparaging against Black women. We have to have this collective visceral response, especially those of us who have opened up our options, because I feel like the Black love women, they probably don't care about this rhetoric. I'm pretty sure they're clapping and agreeing with it, and so they're not going to have a strong response because they don't care. It's the women who say that they want to be quote divested that are having this like conniption fit over this struggle dusty and their struggle dusty logic, and it makes absolutely no sense. I'm just like, I would have saw this and just moved right on about my day. Like I would have just moved right on about my day. Hey Jolie, how you doing? Yes, sis, you caught a live, girl. You in this thing. Hey, dab on them. Let's listen to this logic, y'all, because we can just break it down.
In America and also in Wisconsin, which is, by the way, known as one of the worst places in the United States for for Black people to live right now. Yeah. I was telling my producer about Wisconsin. I've been in Milwaukee quite a few times. I was telling her about that city. You've given us a lot, and I really appreciate you just.
He haven't given anything.
Because now it's going to help us understand, why you feel the way you do about the conversation we're about to have. If I got it correctly, I know that you often have a visceral reaction to the representation of interracial dating. What's your issue? What comes up for you when you see interracial couples? Well, there's two things, bro. One is I was wondering because I have interracial relationship friends. I have people that are in interracial relationships, married in interracial relationships. I love them.
Watch him really not answer the question. Keep listening.
They're my friends. And yet, the truth is, and I did a YouTube piece on this, and that's why, I've gotten a lot of response on this issue. The truth is, as I walk down the street and I see interracial relationships, there has been a visceral, a gut feeling. And I think the feeling is two things. One, the United States has purposely and methodically waged war against Black people, Black men and Black women.
Okay, so basically the premise of his struggle bandit logic is that I have a visceral response to interracial dating because America has waged war on Black people. The shit is not adding up. Like, you can't even answer a fucking simple question. You're going all around the world and I don't understand this bullshit. It doesn't make any sense. So, okay, so war. Okay, war against the Black community makes you have a visceral response to interracial couples. So someone's out minding their damn business, having dinner, and you see them and it's a white man and a Black woman, and you have a visceral response because America is waging war on you. So Chicago is a whole war zone right now. That's Black people waging war on each other. Okay, it is a war zone. I just got something just crossed my desk where a little baby was 1 month old, got shot in the head in Chicago and just got out the hospital, and the family is finally about to move out of Chicago. So you don't have a visceral response against these young men killing little babies. A little baby, a newborn baby was shot in the head. You don't have a visceral response to that. You don't have a visceral response to that. But you have a visceral response to two grown ass people minding their damn business having dinner. That makes you have okay. All right. Let's keep going.
Historically, for hundreds and hundreds of years now, this has been generations of a war against Black people through the laws, through sociology, through biology teachings, through medicine, through health, through housing, you name it. And so when I see interracial relationships, many times, especially in particular in the media, I feel that there is a whitewashing in a dilution of two things. One is the black family, which America, and in particular white men in America, systemically has destroyed. And two, there's a dilution.
So white men have destroyed the black family, and you have a problem with an interracial couple because there's a war on black people, number one, and then number two, which was very hard to try to make sense of, um, for centuries and centuries, they've been trying to dismantle the black family. They, which is some boogie monster somewhere out in the ethers, the big white man, the scary white man, has been breaking up the family and a whitewashing of black family. So there are millions of black men right now talking about how they will never get married. They call themselves free agents. They call themselves pickup artists. They call themselves red pillars. They call themselves solo dolo. They if they see a black man providing for his family, they shame him and they ridicule him. And so you have millions of black men who subscribe to not wanting to be a family. They hate child support, they hate children, they hate single mothers, they make single mothers wherever they go. They're chronic single mama creators, they're baby mama creators. So they don't want family. But you're talking about some boogeyman white man somewhere that we don't know who he is or where he's at or why he don't want black families to get together. It's some boogeyman somewhere, but it ain't your ass. It ain't your brothers. It ain't your cousins. How many cousins do you have that's behind on their child support? Let's keep it real, struggle bandit. How many of your cousins are behind on their child support and don't see their kids? And are they still invited to Thanksgiving dinner? Yes, they are. Do you still kick it with them? Yes, you do. Do you shame them? No, you don't. Do you hold them accountable? No, you don't. Your cousins, your brothers, your uncles, struggle bandits, especially if they have your mentality, but you're not worried about you're not holding them accountable. You want us to focus on some boogeyman, some ghost somewhere that nobody knows anything about. You want us to focus on some boogeyman. Meanwhile, you and your brothers and your inner circle neglect children in your own community. You have a visceral response to two people out having dinner, minding their damn business, but you're perfectly at peace with everything that's going on in Chicago. You're perfectly at peace with males promoting domestic violence online to millions of impressionable other males. That's fine. We don't have those problems. A black woman is dying black women and girls are dying every 6 hours thus far. We're halfway through the year. Up, or excuse me, increased from every 8 hours last year. You don't have a problem with that. Most of them dying at the hands of black men. Excuse me, pardon me, black males. You don't have a problem with that. You can see these black males murdering black women and girls, but that's not destroying the family. No, we don't need to focus on that. We don't need to focus on anything that would hold you, your brothers, your cousins, your uncles. We don't need to focus on anything that will hold y'all accountable. Oh, no, 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 no. Don't look at me. Don't look at me. Look over there at the boogeyman in the sky, this evil white man that's fucking up everything. That's the problem. Not me. Not my brothers. No, we good. We're just good black men over here. Yeah, I know we have low marriage rates, and yeah, I know we're baby mama creators. Yeah, I know we don't pay child support and shit like that. But don't focus on that. No, 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 no. Focus on the boogeyman white man. That's what you need to do.
Of the injustices that have happened in this country by trying to force or enforce this idea of rosy interracial love and relationships. So those are the things that
What do you mean idea of rosy interracial love? Are you talking about black women with other races of men? Because they do tend to be happier, statistically speaking, and they do tend to have better marriages. That's not a myth. That's real. You guys are the ones who go over to other communities and destroy them. We go over and we make things better. So how is me doing something that's good for me? All of these women are doing what they want to do. I don't need anybody's permission to date who I want to date. I didn't fill out an application. Excuse me, I want to submit this application to the Committee of Black Men because I want permission to date an Indian man or date this Latino dude. Please, I need a stamp of approval. I do what the fuck I want to do. You think I wake up in the morning and could think about what the fuck you want me to do? No, I follow I'm a pleasure seeking individual. Okay. I am a pleasure seeking individual. Real talk, crip walk. That's the woman in me. I go where there's pleasure. I go where there's comfort. I go where there's security. I go where there's provisions. I go where I'm getting catered to. Okay. I go where I can rest, where I can relax, where I'm being cared for. That's where I'm going. And I'm not considering world peace. I'm not considering the social injustice. I'm not considering slavery. I'm not considering how you feel about it. I'm not considering any of that when I'm making decisions about what I want to do, me individually. And there's lots of women who do what they want to do. We don't need you or your struggle bandit posse to approve us doing what the fuck we want to do. We are going to do what we want to do. You guys do what you want to do. That's fine. I don't give a shit. Like you can like I feel no ways about you and your preferences, about you and Becky and whoever else. I don't care because I'm not even over there. I just look at it like thank God you busy with her so you don't have to bother me. That's how I personally feel about it.
Hard to chip at me knowing the history of this country as well as I do. So let me just repeat it back to you so I can make sure I got it and affirm that you've been heard. So when you see interracial couples, you see in that experience America trying to purport something that's not true. And when you see them interracial.
Who is America? Who is America? Is America some boogeyman in the sky? So first we were fixated on boogeyman white man. Now white man has transformed into America in general. America is trying to present something that is not true. That interracial couples are not happy because that's your perspective that these women who are getting taken out on vacation, these women who are having houses, their name is going on the deed, their man is buying them luxury vehicles, their children have a daddy at home. These children are going to private schools or really nice schools. They're going on family vacations. You want to convince us that these black women are not excited and happy and at peace with what they're doing because you woke up on the wrong side of the bed because you're a struggle bandit that doesn't want to accept that another man can do a better job than you. That's the bottom line. Other men are doing a better job than you. And because you keep on talking about a boogeyman white man, a boogeyman America, centuries and centuries of warfare, you're not going to just take responsibility for to do what you have to do.
Couple sort of trumpeted on the media, you see America subversively attacking the black family by suggesting that the family that should be represented or broadcast is not the family with the black man and the black woman, but this other kind of family that's more interracial, more multicultural. Did I get some of that right? A lot of it right. It's less when I see just an interracial couple in general. Mm-hmm. There is some feelings that I feel with interracial couples in general, especially ones that I don't know personally, because...
Do you hear the narcissism there? So interracial couples that you don't know personally bother you more than interracial couples that are just out minding their entire fucking business. So if somebody goes out to have dinner with their spouse or their girlfriend or they're just out on a date and you are really bothered about that because you don't know them personally, because you think that the world revolves around you. You think that somebody got up and was like, "Oh, I would make dinner reservations, but let me check with this struggle bandit first before I do it because I don't want to offend him." You guys are so effing delusional. You're really delusional that you really think that the world revolves around you. You're so entitled. You think that anybody even cares about knowing you, and that if somebody doesn't know you personally, that their relationship bothers you more. This is why you're broke. This is why you're disenfranchised. This is why you're in the position that you're in. You worried about the wrong thing. You should be worried about your own economic empowerment. You should be worried about your own self, keeping your community safe, keeping your family safe, doing what you have to do. But you're worried about somebody out at dinner because America is not showing Black families. Why? What have you done to promote the type of imagery that you want to see? Are you just too bitch made? You're just going to lay down, submit, prostrate on the floor. What have you done? Because I know Black women over here, we promote the imagery that we want to see. There's a lot of Black women content creators that promote the imagery that they want to see. Why don't Black men promote why don't you promote the imagery that you want to see? Who is this boogeyman America? Where is the address? Where does America reside exactly? Who is this person?
Often think about the war that has been waged against Black men, for instance. So if I see a Black woman with a white man, I think about what very likely had a lot to do with that Black woman feeling like this man can complete her as opposed to a Black man. See,
A white man, what would make a Black woman think that this white man can complete her more than a Black man? Well, struggle bandit, what you need to do is you need to compare yourself as a collective to the collective of white men. Compare your wealth, compare your assets, compare your conquest, compare your land ownership, compare your production, compare your manufacturing, compare your arms, compare your defense, compare your marriage rates. Compare those things to the white men, and that will give you further clarity as to why some women are going to choose to be with a non-Black man. Gone are the days that you get to offer penis and a pulse and you can just get any Black woman that you want because you just happen to be born male. No, y'all got to compete. I'm sorry. I know that you don't want to accept that, but it's true. You have to compete now. The wool is all like all the Black love women are divesting day by day. Like they're all throwing their hands up, even the Black power women. I thought I was some type of special unicorn. I am not. I am not unique. I am not special just because I used to be Black power and all this and that. No, no. There's hundreds of thousands of women just like me. They're not with the struggle love no more. They make men compete for their time, attention, and affection. They will pick the best man for the job, period. And that's the thing, ladies. These struggle bandits are never going to accept the fact that they have to compete. And they don't have to compete because they can atrophy, but that doesn't mean that you can't stay on your grind and do what you have to do. And go out there and mingle with men who are willing to give you their best, willing to show their best and invest into you because they want your time, attention, and affection. That's what they want from you. They will put on the line what they're willing to commit to you to get your time, attention, and affection. Take the best offer you possibly can get and make sure you negotiate well for yourself. Get the best freaking offer that you can get before you settle down and commit to anybody. Tell them to run it. The only things that will make you dance are bands.
seeing that war happen and being very cognizant of what we as a people need to do in order to redeem the things that have been done to us. So I see that. But with media, it's a lot more magnified. And especially recently, where you see tons of commercials, television shows, movies, where black, white in anything really, but in particular, white people with black women and vice versa is just over.
So that's the real problem. And I think everybody peeped that. That's his real issue. It's black women dating out. That's his problem. Black women dating out and marrying out is the struggle bandit's problem. It's his issue. And he's probably having a heart attack based off the exact same ad that Jeffrey saw. He's probably, or Godfrey, whatever the guy's name is, he's probably having a heart attack over the exact same ad because they have the exact same pathology, both of them, all of them, the collective, they all share it. They all share it. We were talking earlier on Call Me Coco's live in the chat about like what percentage of black men are good. I would say like 0.5. I think 99.5% of them have struggle bandit mentality. It's like 0.5 at this point, a percentage. So they're very rare, extremely rare. Even the ones who seem good, talk to them long enough and they will reveal this bandit ideology. Just talk to them long enough. Ask them, tell them about like roles in marriage, and what if your wife wanted to take off of work to have a baby and she wanted to like stay at home and raise the kids. Watch him reveal how much of a struggle bandit he is.
Overwhelmingly pushed in the media today. And a lot of people that I talk to feel as if this is the answer somehow to the race problems that we face in this country. Yeah. And I know that that's not true. No, that's interesting. I got to take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk more about this. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever dated someone outside of your race? I have. I've dated dated 2 white women in my life. The relationships were great. There was no problems with those relationships, but I'm very grateful that I was able to find an amazing black woman, dark-skinned black woman from Geechee Gullah background, Charleston, South Carolina, and we've been together for 30 years. So I have the great experience of having a beautiful black woman who understands me in the most deep ways. But yes, I have dated outside of my race. Yeah, no. And I had no issues with it in general. No.
See, that's the confusion that I'm talking about. He just talked about all the problems he has with it. Do y'all see that? Do you see how confused these people are? He just talked about a war. Some boogeyman white man is trying to keep the black families apart. He doesn't like the media portraying these images. He especially doesn't like couples that he doesn't know personally. That really irritates him. He doesn't like to see black women dating out. And then turn around talking about I don't have a problem with it. Listen, struggle bandit. I can't follow your logic because it's illogical, but I'm going to tell you that you do have a problem with it. I'm not going to listen to what you say when you try to clean up your illogic. I heard what you said. And this is when people try to, excuse me, they either try to gaslight you or they say, well, no disrespect. And then they say something completely disrespectful, or like, I don't mean to offend you. And then they say something offensive. It's like, no, you just negated everything that you said. So no, you don't get to say all these problems that you have and then be like, but I don't have a problem with it. You guys sound stupid. Even when you try to sound smart, you guys still sound stupid. And you think that like we are the most educated group in America. How many PhDs do you know? How many doctors do you know? How many Juris Doctorates do you know that are black women? Most all of us have bachelors, like we pop them out like Skittles. We be having bachelor's degrees. And we going for certifications and everything else. We are very educated. We can see through the struggle bandit logic. It doesn't add up. You're dealing with a highly intelligent group of people. You're dissatisfied with the pick-me-shas that you have left because you've always relied on the women who produce the most, The women who are the most innovative, the women who are the most beautiful, the women who are the most graceful, who are the most classy, who carry themselves the best. You've always relied on us, this class of women, to settle for struggle dusties. You've always relied on that hypogamy shit because we've been so loyal to a fault, to our own fault. But we're saying, okay, got to stop that. We got to clean ourselves up. We got to dust ourselves off and understand that we need someone who can match what we bring to the table. How we show up disqualifies most of y'all from the beginning, which is why I don't really pay attention to a lot of these struggle band, like a lot of it. I really don't. Because it's like, you're not even qualified to have a conversation with me. You need to make an appointment with my assistant to get taken off my calendar. You don't qualify to have a conversation with me. You don't have the intellect to. That's why nobody wants to debate Cynthia G. Nobody wants to debate her. She obliterates all the Dusties. She obliterates all of them. None of them want to have a debate with her. I've yet to hear one hold a can. I've yet to hear one sit up here and actually debate her on the facts and figures. They always get emotional and they say, we're emotional. No, you bandits are emotional. You get triggered, you get upset, and you lose focus as to what we are talking about. You lose focus as to the topics that are being discussed because you don't have a handle of your emotions. You are the ones who melt down and throw a temper tantrum, and you cannot sit up here and engage in conversation. You can't debate your points on facts because all of your facts are flawed. The logic does not follow all the way through to the end. And then you want to say one thing and then distract us on something else. Meanwhile, you are running amok in the community. Your sons, the ones that you don't want to claim. And it's like, you know how I know that they're for destruction? You don't want your son and you don't want nobody to raise him. You just want him to just perish. You don't want your son and you don't want anyone else to raise him. Let that sink in. That's next level sadistic. That's next level sadistic. I always called it collective narcissism until now. I will call it collective narcissism. But I really think 3 trash bag carrying struggle dusty really does encompass quite a bit. It really does apply. I know it seems stringing these words together doesn't seem very brilliant, but it is quite brilliant. It actually is because it really encompasses a lot. It really, really does. It explains a lot in words that I had not been able to quite articulate until recently. But when it fits and it works, it works. And this is very descriptive of the collective pathology of the collective of underdeveloped Black males. Because it's like, I remember even when the whole Sierra and Future thing happened, it was just so confusing to me. Like, Future does not want this baby, this little cute baby boy. He don't want him. He don't want him. And all the struggle bandits rallied around Future and abandoning his family. Like, yeah, leave that bitch, leave her. Yeah, that's right. Pump and dump her. Move on. Get somebody younger. Get somebody lighter. Get somebody better. You're too whatever for that, washed up R&B singer. This was like millions and millions of African American Black men. And I'm just like, okay, so all right, he doesn't want her. He don't want his own child. So this man comes in and starts to raise him. And I remember there was a long time ago, he may have been like 2 or 3 years old. There was a picture of Russell Wilson throwing a football with this child, and the bandits had a heart attack. They had a collective heart attack because they were so upset that somebody was throwing a football with this baby boy. And I remember before I really had the understanding that I have today, like, why do you care? You don't want this little boy. Why can't someone help him? Why can't someone throw a football with him? Why can't someone take him out for ice cream? Why can't somebody love and care for him? Why? Hold on, y'all. So, um, so it's not that, like, this little boy is in your own image and you hate him. You hate him so much that you don't want anybody to love him. And my thing is, if you're homicidal and suicidal, you're going to do that shit by your damn self. I'm not going to assist you. I'm not going to be a part of that. Because if you can reject this cute little baby that's in your own image, you support his father abandoning him, you ridicule and harass a man who's stepping up to the plate to care for this young man, and you don't applaud the man that steps up. No, 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 you don't. You harass their family. That's next level struggle bandit, three trash bag carrying logic right there. And now I get it. Because before, if you think about it, it's very confusing because you can't make it make sense. The only way that I've made it make sense for myself is they just want to see pain and suffering. They want to see the baby suffering. They want to see the mama suffering. They want to see everybody suffering. They want pain, destruction, and suffering. That's the only way that I can make it make sense in my head. It's like, I don't want you. I don't want him to want you. I don't want nobody to want you. I just want you to be alone and I just want you to suffer. The only thing that will satisfy them is if black women and children suffer. That seems like they will fight until they will fight towards your suffering. That's it. That's it. That's the only thing that they will actually collectively move on is black women and children suffering. We don't want you to have child support because we don't want these children being taken care. We don't think that y'all know the kids don't deserve no provisions. No, we vehemently oppose that. We don't like the system. We think that if we go to prison, you should just hold us down and wait on us forever because I have a penis and a pulse and like I didn't do it. The white man made me do it. I mean, I know the white man didn't actually make me do it. I did it, but the white man somehow influenced me some way or somehow through telepathy or something. The white man made me go out here and commit this crime. Now I'm in prison and you need to wait for me. This shit is crazy.
I just wanted to ask because everybody watching is asking that question, right? Everybody watching this show right now wanted me to ask you, have you ever dated, outside of your race? Because your views on it are so I think nuanced and so sophisticated, poignant. You are very clear about how you feel.
Nothing about what this male said was sophisticated or poignant. It was just trash bag logic. I don't know what this guy's talking about.
About it, and the passion comes through. And what I gather from what you're saying, and then we'll take this break, is that you are concerned about some things, and so when we come back, that's what we'll do. When we come back, I want to give you an opportunity to tell me all the things that you're concerned about as it relates to this issue. We'll talk a little more about it, and then I'm going to tell you what I think, if that's all right. Yeah, of course, bro. Let's do that. So listen, people. It's a hell of a discussion, don't you think? Speech Thomas has loaded us up tonight. I wonder what you're thinking right now as you watch this. I wonder where you stand on that. Interracial dating. How do you feel about it? Put it in the chat. Send me an email. When we come back, I'm going to hear more of what Speech has to say. And I'm going to tell all of you and him what I have to say. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody. I'm talking to Speech Thomas, lead singer from the famed hip hop group Arrested Development. We're talking about interracial dating. Speech's understandings, his concerns about it. And that's why I wanted to pick up where we left off. Tell me what you are concerned about, because beneath the level of the things that we are sort of opposed to are always the things that we are concerned about. So let's go to what Ralph Ellison calls the lower frequency. And let's go down there and tell me.
I thought that that was very interesting because these struggle bandits live in the low frequency. They live down in the low frequency. You don't need to go to the low frequency. Y'all started y'all interview inside low frequency. You still on low frequency. And when we think y'all so and so's have hit rock bottom, you somehow figure out a way to go even lower.
Tell me, as you view what America's trying to do with interracial images, what are you concerned about, chiefly?
When you see what America is trying to do with interracial images, what? When you see what America is trying to do with interracial images, what? Who is America? What are you talking about? Are you talking about specific companies that are marketing to specific types of families? Is that what you're talking about? Like, what America are you talking about exactly? Like, this is so pie in the sky. This is so boogeyman, paranormal, like, you know, fantasizing. Like, this is not this, you can't have a real conversation that's based in the boogeyman. Like, there, no type of dialogue, no type of intellect can be shared because this is boogeyman talk.
I'm chiefly concerned with a few things. One is that showing interracial relationships without addressing what has been attacking Black people for all of these centuries. For instance, right now, we're having trouble even introducing something like critical race theory in the schooling system, and yet bombarded with this idea that we're all of a sudden everyone's peachy and everyone's good.
Okay, so you're falsely equating interracial imagery with supposedly the idea that America the boogeyman is putting forth an image that everything is peachy and good. But we need to be worried about critical race theory in the school. What? What? This don't make no sense. This is crazy.
In the media. So you see this thing that's it's hypocrisy at its best.
No, you're hypocritical.
That you're showing this sort of beautiful relationship thing consistently on television. And yet the history that makes me, by the way, upset when I see these whitewashed type of images is not even being taught to most of America.
Let me just say this. This was an interesting point when you say whitewashed. A lot of these Black women who appear inside of these images are not whitewashed. They're actually super Black. Like, they be having kinky hair. They be having 4C hair with they white man. They be dark skinned. They don't be whitewashed at all. It's actually once we go over to your imagery, when we submit to Black men's perspective as to how we need to look, that's when we have the long, blonde bundles and stuff. That's when we have the long blonde bundles, when we go over to your imagery, when we go to your video shoots, when we go to your movie sets. When Black men are in control of the imagery is when Black women get white, so-called, as you say, whitewashed. Whereas a lot of the Black women showing up in the other ads look Black with their natural hair and minimal makeup and lots of dark skin representation. So that's crazy. And again, nobody considers the history of the world when they're making their individual choice for their individual family. No one's going to be like, oh man, this white man wants to give me the world. He wants to marry me, but oh no, let me not marry him because of slavery 500 years ago. So no, 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 no. I will not accept your $10,000 ring. No. I will not accept the Mercedes that you want to give. No, 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 I won't. Because I can't, because of slavery 500 years ago. What? Makes no sense. Like, nobody thinks about that. Like, you're delusional. If you think that Black women we don't think like that. This is the thing. Y'all think y'all know how we think, but you don't. You don't even know how your own self thinks. You're so freaking confused. But we don't think like that. We make the best decision for our own personal family, for our own community. Everybody has their own agenda as to what they're trying to do with their life. And that's what we're going to do. What's best for us. We're not going to be taking into consideration, oh, well, the world is not at peace, therefore I have to continue suffering. No, although you're obsessed with our suffering, we are pleasure seeking. We don't want to be suffering perpetual, like forever. We don't want that. You get off on that because you're sadistic, but we don't want that. And we're not going to do it. We're going to keep on doing what we want to do, marrying whoever we want, going out on a date with whoever we want. And that's just what it is. Period.
Unfortunately, some may look at me as if I'm radical or weird about this.
You are weird.
Hundreds of years have led to the demise of Black men being acceptable for many Black women. Hundreds of years have led to the reality that Black women in many times earn more than Black men. Hundreds of years with methodical warfare tactics have led us to a place that has made many times Black men a mute issue in our own communities. Many of us unable to communicate with one another, unable to have the skills to be able to stay with one another. So
see, this is the thing. This is the thing that what y'all do to avoid doing accountability. You're talking about we don't have the skills to stay together. No, you guys don't have the skills to be with anybody. That's the issue. You don't have relationship skills, period. You don't have interpersonal skills, period. Wherever you go, you don't commit. You make single mothers everywhere you go. When we go to other communities, we tend to be married longer. We have lower divorce rates. We have more wealth. We have more stability. Our children tend to be educated better. When we go to other communities, when you go to other communities, you carry your 3 trash bags right on over there and create single mothers. So it's not, see, this is the thing, and this is where I was confused for so many years. Back in the day when I was all about Black love, it's like, no, we need to learn how to communicate with each other. We need to work together. We need to figure this out. No, 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 no. We figured out the problem and it's you. You're the problem. But you haven't figured out that you're the problem. So you want to try to confuse us with the fact that we need to focus on communication skills when that is not the problem. Hold on, y'all. Okay. All right, y'all. So where was I? The little one got my mind distracted. Where was I, y'all? Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. So they try to confuse you with this, like, no, we need to work together. That's the problem. That's not the problem. The problem is you don't value marriage. We hear you. I hear the men, and I accept what they're saying. When millions of Black men say we don't love these hoes, that's the culture that you were raised in. Big pimping, right? Big pimping, spinning cheese. Don't love these hoes, uh women are, I've heard the men. Okay, I get it. I accept okay. Okay. We are on the same page. You don't value commitment in marriage. You don't value children at all, not even your own. And you don't want to be okay. All right. So I know that I'm going to go find what I want because I do value marriage and commitment. And I do value a man that takes care of me. So I'm just going to go find that. So see ya. Bye.
different skill sets that have been ripped away from us from centuries. And I'll tell you what really let me know that I needed to talk about this more often. I had a friend who was a Black woman who was married to a white man, and she was trying to convince Black women to go ahead and date outside of their race and consider marriage outside of their race in order to find love. I was totally with that thought. Women, black women in particular, deserve to find love. They deserve to find, a compatible mate. But then as I started following this sister's teachings, it became less about, hey, keep your mind and your hearts open, black sisters, and more about black men ain't SHIT, black men ain't this. It just became a black men bashing session. And that's when I...
Anytime anybody gives you the statistics as to what you guys do, you shut it down as it's a bashing session. Even it's all facts. But you just don't want to improve yourself. You don't want to improve yourself, and you don't want to accept the honest feedback that, you know, all the things that you're doing. You don't want to accept that. And you just want to say, "Oh, it's bashing. Let me not listen."
Pissed off. Number one, as a black man. Number two, seeing the various things that have affected our ability to protect our women from slavery in this country, from slavery on up to today. And seeing this attack on black men, I felt was definitely not fair. Now, are there men out...
How is it not fair that people are criticizing you when you do things that warrant criticism? And you're like, "Oh, hundreds of years, there's reasons why we can't protect our family." Okay, well, fine. If you don't want to protect your community, then I'm going to go with a man who will protect me. Let's just follow your logic. Let's just follow your logic. Let's just say what you're saying is true. The white boogeyman, everything, society, the world, the court system, everything has rendered you totally powerless. Everything has rendered you basically devil. Oh, that's in Spanish. Like what's the English word? Like where you're just like you don't have no strength in your body, right? You don't have no strength in your body. You just powerless. How is that enticing to any woman? How is that enticing? That's not sexy. That's not attractive. Oh, look at me. I've been oppressed for 100 years. I can't do shit. I won't protect you. Like, okay, I hear you. I hear what you just said. Society has made it to where you are powerless and you can't protect a family and you can't protect a woman. That's what you're projecting into the world. That's what you could have came on this show and talked about anything that you wanted to do in the world. You could have talked about military strategy. You could have talked about self-defense. You could have talked about uh, economics that you're doing. You could have talked about programs that you have going on. You could have talked about how strong black men are. You could have talked about how powerful black men are. You could have talked about how family men, and you could have had some examples of other family men that you wanted to highlight. You had the creative freedom to talk about whatever you wanted to do. You forewent talking about any of those topics and instead opted to talk about your subjugation. No black woman anywhere made you do that. No black woman anywhere made you come onto a national platform and project out into the world that you're powerless and subjugated. You did that. You chose that. That's what you want the world to know about you. It's embarrassing. But lucky for me and lucky for many women, I'm not associated with your struggle bandit ass. You want to be weak, you want to be subjugated, go do that by yourself. I'm not with you. That shirt that says I'm not with stupid. I'm not with stupid. I'm not with you. You over there by you do you over there. If you don't have protection and provisions to offer me, I will go where I can find it. That is a Fendi fact. And many women are prioritizing their own personal womanly desires over the struggle love illusion of black love and black community that doesn't exist because for years we were doing the work by ourselves. We were doing the work by ourselves. You weren't even helping. You were pretending to help. You were swooping in at the last minute to come to the conference, to the press conference, to do the press conference and to come up on the stage and go up into the pulpit to do your da da da, but you're not doing the day-to-day work. You're not raising the money and raising the kids and doing all this type of stuff and keeping people safe and keeping everybody fed and all the, you weren't doing all that. You come in at the last minute to take the shine. But Black women, we've been doing all the work on our own for such a long time. That's not community. That's not true community, because we don't have a collective, as Black people all together, we don't have a collective goal. Black women have been about family by their damn selves for a very long time, while you guys value promiscuity. You guys value racking up, notches on your belt. And granted, you can find that level of promiscuity in every single community. The only difference in between the Black community and other communities is that those type of bandits are in the minority in their communities, but those bandits are the majority in y'all's community. In y'all's community. The majority of y'all are only about promiscuity. That's it. That's it. Most of these dating coaches they're not teaching men how to find a wife. They're not teaching men how to take care of women. They're not teaching men how to increase their wealth. They're only teaching men manipulative tactics to try to sleep with as many women as they possibly can. That's it. So we don't even have the same agenda. It doesn't make sense. We can't build anything together? We can't create anything together. I'm about family. Take care of my children. I do what I have to do. I'm about sisterhood and lifting up Black women and girls. Every opportunity that y'all get to disparage Black women and girls, you do it. Every opportunity. So we don't have the same goal as it relates to Black women upliftment. We are not on the same page. We don't have the same goal about family. We don't have the same goal about rearing children. So there's no community there. It's very disjointed. And y'all isolate yourselves over there because, you guys will just cannibalize each other. I'm not going to be involved with that. I'm not going to be involved with that. I'm staying I'm minding my business, and I'm going to mind the business that pays me. And that don't. It's just a wake-up call to Black women. You've been by yourself a long time. You thought that person that was sleeping on your couch, eating up your food and drinking your kids' juice boxes, y'all thought y'all was a family. That is not a family. You just had basically a boarder in your house, a leech, a parasite sucking the life out of you. And you didn't know it. You thought that was your man. Nope, that was your parasite. You wonder why you can't, you know what I'm saying, get to the next level because you have all that weight dragging you down. You sit up here doing all this work, trying to do this for the kids, and then boom, they messing it up. Every time you get 2 steps ahead, they drag you back 5 because they don't have your same agenda. That's why I always promote on this channel, be agenda driven. Let your personal mission guide your life. And if you don't know what that is, you don't have an agenda, you don't have a personal mission as to what you're doing, sit down and take some time and come up with that. That will be your guidelight. That will be your, your lighthouse as to how you move in the world so that you won't get distracted or off course by other people's agenda. You have your own agenda. If your agenda overlaps with somebody else, that's cool. Then y'all can do something together. But stay on mission. Stay on your mission.
That need to be doing better by all means, and that's what I hope the media starts to do. I hope that the media will change the narrative and show Black men how to be more committed, those that need to learn that.
So he's saying that it's the media's job to teach Black men to be committed, not his, because he hasn't taken responsibility for anything during this interview. He hasn't taken responsibility for anything in this interview. Nothing. He's not even saying other men need to teach men to value commitment. He's saying the media. Who's the media? Some boogeyman. So we got three boogeymans: the media boogeyman, America boogeyman, and white boogeyman. We can't hold any of these boogeymans accountable because we don't know their address. We don't know where they live. We don't know where the media lives, the media boogeyman. Where does that where is that entity that needs to teach black men how to be committed? Where is it? Because you don't want to take accountability. You don't want to hold your brothers accountable. You don't want to hold your sons accountable. Your sons are ravaging the community. Take your ass to Chicago and go figure that shit out. It's a war zone over there. I barely can't even look at the news coming out of Chicago. It's so depressing and sad. Just when I see the babies. Now y'all old grown folks, do what y'all want to do. It's the babies that scares me. And even the babies that have to sit up there and be in such violence. You know what I'm saying? They can't even play outside. What's going on there? Where is it? Is it Queens or the Bronx? It's crazy. But the media is supposed to teach black men how to be committed and everything that they need to know. Okay.
Because there is more black men to black women, so a lot of us are not committing, especially those of us that have higher paying jobs and so on and so forth. So there is things that need to be done, but those are some of the things that peed me off when I had this talk with this sister, and as I saw it progress into men bashing, black men bashing in particular. No, I appreciate all of that. I'm going to give you my response, okay? Because we're running out of time, and I want to make sure that I can offer the best of me to the best of you. And the irony is, you know, a lot of
The best of you is pretty trash so far, and the best he's only shown us his three trash bags. We haven't seen anything of value from this person. Nothing. He hasn't shown us leadership. He hasn't shown us a vision for the black community. His vision was the media needs to fix black men. I'm mad that there's people having dinner out and I don't know them personally. I'm upset because this woman is bashing black men. So you're mad at the black woman for giving criticism to black men and proposing options for black women, but you haven't demonstrated any leadership on this interview. You don't have a vision for your own brothers, sons, uncles, and cousins that are running rampant. You don't have a solution for any of that. You just brush the promiscuity under the rug of even the higher paid black males, and you know that you just alluded to the fact that they're promiscuous and they won't commit. You don't want to take that on. You don't want to deal with the other bandits. You don't want to deal with anything. But you're just mad that black women are saying, "Well, okay, y'all fucked up. All right, well, let me go find something that's gonna work for me." That upsets you to your core. But the other things, no, they're fine. You don't have a vision. Like you yourself had all the opportunity to come and present your vision for your brethren, but you didn't do that, and y'all never do. I have sat up and listened to bandits ask black women, "Well, what do we need to do for what do we?" Why don't you know? Do you think that an Israeli man sits around and asks his woman what his vision is for their community, their little small little peck of a country in this globe, yet they dominate the world? Such a small freaking population dominating. Do you think they sit up and ask their women, "What should we do, baby? I don't know." No, they don't ask. They go out and get it. But y'all sit up and come in our face and ask us what y'all need to be doing as men because y'all don't know. And you're so busy pointing and blaming other people that you never even sit down to think of a time and come up with a strategy for yourself, for your own family, for your own community, even your own block, your one little block. Just take accountability for your block. But you won't even do that. Y'all be on like 6 hour lives. Like, I'm like, there's no way you can be a family man and you're online for 6 hours live streaming. There's no way you could be a family man. Y'all see, I done got interrupted 5 times trying to do this live.
what you say, I think in a certain context, I agree with. Here's what I agree with. I agree that America should not try to purport interracial dating as a panacea by which to address anti-blackness or racism. Because the private estimations of someone's heart do not overcome the systemic evils that a country has been wedded to for 400 years. You can't, just because a black person or a white person or a brown person or a yellow person are in love with each other does not mean that systemic evil and racism has been addressed at all. I think you're absolutely right about that. And
It's a fallacy. That's a fallacy because you, first of all, if you're going to, okay, let's say that that's your argument. America the boogeyman is putting out this imagery, and then the media the boogeyman is putting out this imagery because to they want to promote a panacea, and that anti-blackness doesn't exist, and that racism doesn't exist, and the history of America doesn't exist because I put out a billboard with a black woman and a white man. You would have to substantiate that argument. Just you saying it doesn't make it so, because you are really grasping at straws. You're reaching so far, you've reached like past this galaxy in order to try to make that, make that argument that this billboard, a billboard or a commercial, is attempting to combat anti-blackness, erase so racism in the country, in the history of America, and downplay racism. You didn't substantiate that argument. It's a very weak argument. It's a fantastical argument.
purport that as one being a proxy for the other, or one being an excuse for the other, or one being a fix for the other is a damn lie. So I agree with that. I totally agree with that. But here's where I'm going to push you, Speaks. Okay. If I'm going to push you. And then I'm going to sing your song. I'm kidding. I'm going to push you by saying this. One of the things I thought about this issue is, when I knew you were coming on and I heard you talk about this, is that I understand that my mother's grandmother was a slave as a child. And my mother's great-grandmother was born into slavery. And I think about them all the time, and I wonder often as I think about them all the time what it is they fought and died for, and what it is they claimed, and what it is they labored, and what it is they prayed and cried for. And one of the things I think that we agree, the other thing I think we agree on, is that they did not live and die and struggle and sacrifice so that we could denigrate each other, reject each other, or believe lies against each other. They did not do that so that black men could be treated as if we are the scourge of the skiff of the earth. They did it so that we would have a healthy understanding of each other.
So you don't want black men to be treated as, what did he say, the scurf of the earth or something? Something like that. But what are y'all doing though? What are y'all doing though? What about the behavior? What about the lack of accountability? And also, yeah, what about the lack of accountability? Like, what about what y'all really doing though? It's like you want to fuck up in peace. It's like, I know we fucking up. I know we ravaging the community, but just don't call us out on it. Just let us terrorize people in peace. We still want respect. We still want admiration. I know I ain't really doing shit. I'm not trying to better myself. I'm not trying to do nothing, but I still want respect and admiration. It's like only in La La Land does this work. And I think that black women used to be inside of the collective, like the shared fantasy, that shared narcissistic fantasy that doesn't work anywhere else but here. Like nowhere, only in your grandmama house do you get to walk around like you big shit. You ain't got no job. You got 2 felonies. You behind on child support. You know what I'm saying? You ain't got no car, but you get to walk around. You get the big piece of meat at Big Mama house, because Big Mama's still on that black male worship shit. So Big Mama's still gonna give you that big piece of meat that you didn't work for. You didn't go kill that animal. You didn't go buy that animal. You didn't buy no groceries. You're not paying no light bill. You're not paying nothing at Big Mama house. But Big Mama gonna still dote over you and worship you, like, because you're a male. That only works at Big Mama's house. If you go to a corporation, they don't give a shit. They want to see your resume. They want to see your resume. What kind of education do you have? What have you done? And what internships have you had? Where have you worked? What do you know? What languages do you know? Like, where have you been? Like, who do you know at this company? Like, have you been through our, professional development program? What school did you study at? So your trash bags only are allowed in Big Mama's house. But you cannot carry your trash bags over to any other community and try to walk around with your chest pumped out. You get your chest caved in real fast over there. You get deflated real fast over there because those men are competing on things that you don't have. And instead of being inspired by your women who've been cheering you on for years, you can do it, you can do it. You don't listen to us, you don't believe us, fine. Okay. You're not inspired by competition from the other men. No, you atrophy, you cower in the face of competition. So you carry your ass back over to Big Mama's house and terrorize everybody over there. Makes no sense. I mean, it doesn't, but it does. It does make trash bag sense, but it doesn't carry over to other communities. Like, it is illogical, but just accept them as being illogical. Like, that's just what they are. That's just what they do.
That we would be able to embrace each other, but they also died and lived and worked so that we could know on whatever level we're able to embrace it what freedom is. Because the goal of all of this is for us to ultimately, in my opinion anyway, is to be free. And freedom is the right to be yourself and the opportunity to be greater than what you are. And I would add to that, here's where I push you, my dear brother, that a part of what they bled and died for is for people to have the ability to use the estimations of their heart to drive them into their own personal legends and their own personal happiness. I don't believe that somebody should go to a college because it's black. I don't think that somebody should not go to a college because it's white. I think that someone should do what is in their interest and what is in the interest of their family, their legacy, and who they are. You should do those things that suit you. I think one of the great scourges of racism, one of the great burdens of it, is that racism makes you racialize everything. Racism makes you see things through everything through a racial lens, and you really can't help it. And part of the trick or the tool to survive racism is that you have to see things through a racial lens. But I think a part of what enslaved Africans and what Denmark Vesey and Gabriel Proctor and Martin R. Delaney and Richard Allen, all the great heroes and heroines did for us, is that they wanted us to have the opportunity to be able to, at some level, sit where we want to sit, eat where we want to eat, drive what we want to drive, live where we want to live, do what we want to do, and yes, to love who we want to love. I don't think it's either or speech. I think you can be totally right about how the thing is being used, and I think you can be totally right about how it's being proctored and proxied before the world. But at the same time, be able to understand that if a black woman genuinely falls in love with a white man, or a black man genuinely falls in love with a white woman, that love has to be honored because it is genuine, it is real, it is significant, it is important. Put aside racism for a second. If you find anybody over the course of your life, as you found, who will love you unconditionally, stay with you, you have achieved something. And if that person happens to be of your race or happens to be of another race, I think what's most important is that you found someone to love you. The regret is that in America, we can't just see it like that. In America, we have to see it through the lens of the things that make America debilitating and sometimes a drudgery. But my challenge to you, dear brother, is to be able to hold your position and see the truth of what America is trying to do while you're still able to honor the potential for people of different races to genuinely fall in love, to genuinely love each other, and to see that not just as a good thing, but on some level, the goal of what our freedom stuff.
And this was a really interesting rant, verbal vomit that this guy just did. I mean, in essence, when black women were fighting for liberation from the plantation, we were fighting to keep black families together. But when black men were fighting for, when they were, whatever they were doing, They were fighting to sleep with master's woman. Like, this pathology that he has is in alignment with what we've been having discussions that we've been having in other spaces. He just perfectly articulated the exact like continuum of pathology that has been since they got off the plantation. Their first priority was to get access to non-Black women. That was their priority numero uno. Very, very important. And he just, oh, that's what Big Mama was fighting for. Big Mama was, your great grandma was not fighting for you to leave her for a white woman. So stop it. Stop it. That's not what she was fighting for. That's not what she was trying to get off the plantation. Black women since millennia have been trying to keep Black families together. That's what we were trying to do. Y'all are the ones who are treasonous and disloyal. You're the ones who had other ideas in your mind. You were trying to get away from us as fast as you could. Get over there and then dip in and use us as a resources to your benefit. Again, we don't have the same agenda. We don't have the same mission. You guys have always had a different mission as than us. He could have went on a dissertation about Black families. He could have went on about how important it is to keep Black families together. He could have done that, but he used his time to justify why our ancestors sacrificed. Our ancestors sacrificed for them to go over and be with other women. And he's okay with that. And generally they are okay with that. But they're not okay with Black women exploring their options and considering all men, considering the best man for the job. They're not okay with that. And I think that he's talking about genuine love. And I think that if it was genuine love, then sure. But oftentimes with them, it's not genuine love. It's not. You don't even have genuine love for yourself. Like Black men, many of them, especially the dark-skinned ones, like this guy, I know y'all, I can't show it because of copyright, but this guy is like a dark-skinned guy. And it's like, no, especially dark-skinned men, you guys don't love yourself so much that you don't want to replicate yourself. You don't want to look down at a little baby and see your reflection. You don't want that. You want to produce something that looks nothing like you. That is serious. Like, I mean, I've known this for years and I've always thought it was so bizarre. Like, and I can't make you love yourself. I just have to just throw my hands up. I can't make you love yourself. You hate yourself so much. You don't want to look at a little offspring of yours that looks like you. You don't want to see your spitting image. You want to see something that looks totally different from you. Would you call that genuine love? I wouldn't. I think you say that because it sounds good. It sounds very poetic. But that's not what you're seeking. You're seeking something totally different. It's a weird thing y'all got going on over there. But it ain't genuine love and true heart and we're not buying that story anymore because we know how y'all really do over there and we know how y'all get down. So we know that it's all charades and it ain't about love and all this and that. What we're seeking is stability, family, provisions, and a real man. That's what we're trying. That's the goal over here.
The goal is not to date white people. That's not what I'm saying. The goal is to be free enough, to be bold enough, to be human enough, to be you enough to date whoever the hell you want. So I'm done. I'm not sure if you agree. I don't know what you think. It doesn't matter to me, speech. What matters to say that again? Can I say something to respond to you? Yes, very, very quick, very quick. I do agree with pretty much everything you said. The only thing I don't agree with is that is the purpose of our freedom. But I do agree that we have to be able to love those that we love, and I thoroughly agree with that. And I appreciate your thoughts on it, though. No, and that to me is the value of this conversation. is that we can touch at the places where we agree, and then we can name the places that we disagree with.
I don't really think they named anything as far as agreeing and disagreeing. I thank y'all for tuning in. Oh, y'all, I need a nap after that struggle bandit logic. I need a drink and a nap. Like, I'm mentally tired now. I didn't think that it was going to drain me in the way that it did, but it's kind of drained me a little bit. I feel a little bit drained. It's so like you get lost trying to follow the logic. And this is the thing about narcissistic people. I feel like they say a lot, but they really didn't say much at all because it's just so many filler words. And then when you're dealing with people who are trying to sound smarter than what they really are, they add a lot of unnecessary filler words, and you can't really, follow anything. And then he just said, "Well, I agree with everything that you just said." But then again, he just went on this whole thing about how he doesn't like interracial couples, but then he just said he agreed with him. And then the guy says, "Well, I want to hear what you say, but I really don't care what you say." Did y'all hear him say that? "I really don't care what you say"? I'm like, see, y'all don't even have interpersonal skills between each other. Like, you had this man on your show, you say, "Well, tell me what you think, but I really don't care what you say." Y'all don't even have interpersonal skills between each other. Y'all are freaking hilarious, y'all. Okay, so in conclusion, ladies, listen, y'all do what y'all want to do, okay? You don't need nobody's permission. Wake up, seek your own happiness. You know what I'm saying? Go out here, date who you want to date. These bandits are going to keep having tantrums, but we just have to just figure out, that how we're going to react because they want our attention either way it goes, whether it's good attention or bad attention. And I think that, this guy just crawled out from under a rock out of obscurity because nobody was checking for Godfrey until he came for black women. Then Godfrey starts trending. So that is the ploy. That is the tactic. When your career is washed up, when you're not getting any money, nobody's talking about you, nobody cares what you're doing. When all else fails, attack black women. When all else fails, attack black women. And we got to stop that. We just need to quietly unsubscribe. And I have been doing that for years. Like before I had any access to divestment, I just quietly unsubscribe. Like just unsubscribe and I don't support. Like I didn't make a big announcement as to why I don't support Tyrese. I didn't make any announcements. I didn't, post about it and tweet about it. I just quietly unfollowed, blocked, don't have any interest in anything that you have going on, don't want to see your movies, don't want to I'll listen to your music, but I won't buy it. I won't even stream it. You know what I'm saying? Like you and your black queen, like y'all go over there and do whatever y'all want to do. Your quote queen. And so there's been so many Kevin Hart. It's been so many problematic black males like that I just quietly unsubscribe, don't support. I don't even leave negative comments about them. If they do something and they post something, I don't even leave negative comments because I don't even want to drive the attention to their stream, you know? I don't even want to add comments to the content to make it bump up. I just quietly unsubscribe. And every time YouTube suggests not interested, don't suggest this topic, unsubscribe, no. And I think that, we can definitely strategize even further as to how we're going to handle these temper tantrums because they're going to be more. Because we're only growing in numbers of women who are saying they're not for the fuck shit anymore. The number of women who are deciding to do what they want to do is growing. It's only growing. So I can only predict that the temper tantrums are going to increase as well. The shaming tactics and all of that. It's like, what, you know what? I can show you better than I can tell you that your opinion doesn't matter. I can show you better than I can tell you how insignificant your temper tantrum is when it pertains to the decisions that I make in my life. So insignificant. I say on this channel all the time, don't argue with Dusties. Don't argue with Dusties. Don't argue with Dusties. They sit up and come on panels and black women get so enraged. And I'm like, girl, are you getting some yo, stress levels going up because this Dusty then slithered onto the panel? And you want to try to like listen, you can't educate them. Okay, we all need to have a master class in narcissism. Narcissism is a developmental disorder, meaning meaning it's developed as a small child. It's a developmental disorder. It's not even really mental. Like mental disorders are more like depression. You can kind of cure that. You know what I'm saying? You can cure depression. Um, you can cure anxiety. You can not necessarily cure, but you can remedy it. You can attend to the depression. You can tend to the anxiety. You can tend to other different disorders, that are more, or even some things that are like chemical in the brain or that kind of thing. You can tend to those things. Narcissism is a developmental disorder. It's almost like similar to like an autism spectrum type of thing. Like that's a developmental disorder. So you can, manage it, but it's going to be there. It's going to be there. And that's how it is with narcissism. So these people, there's a whole collective of males who have developmental disorder. They have a developmental situation going on. And so you cannot reason with them. You cannot educate them out of it. The thing about it is, I'll see if I can post some resources, but there's this concept in psychology with there's a certain situation that bothers the person who is the patient. And then sometimes the patient has an issue that doesn't bother them. So a lot of times people go to counseling because they're depressed and they don't like being depressed. They want to be happy, but they don't know how to be happy. So they go in to a practitioner to get assistance with learning how to be happy, learning how to feel balanced emotionally. The thing about narcissism is that narcissism doesn't bother them. It only bothers you. You understand? It doesn't bother them. They don't feel like you think that they need help, but they are not motivated because they're not bothered by it. And in fact, they think that they are superior to you. They think that the way that they maneuver in the world and the way that they process information and relationships is superior to you. They think that you are a slave to your emotions and that you have the issues and that you're stupid for not being manipulative. That's how they really think. They think that, well, if you can manipulate and gaslight, you should do it because you have the ability to do it and you should do whatever you want to do to exert control. And that's how they feel. And they think you're stupid for not doing it. And you, from your perspective, are looking at them and saying, hey, there's a better way to live. You don't have to gaslight. You don't have to be manipulative. You don't have to be controlling. You don't have to be domineering. You don't have to, do what you're doing. You don't have to, throw rocks, hide your hand, burn the whole house down, be so sadistic. You're bothered by it, but they're not. They're at peace with the way they are. There's no internal conflict as to why they're doing what they're doing. A lot of them are at peace with it. For those are the ones who are advanced, who have more severe cases, because narcissism is also a spectrum disorder. It's a spectrum disorder and it manifests in there's lots of flavors of narcissism. But when all this underdeveloped collective get together, they tend to, kind of like sharpen their narcissistic iron against each other's, and they become better narcissists together. They can abuse in a group. You know what I'm saying? They come together to get better at being abusive. They come together to get better at being destructive. when they come together with that the way that they are. And the like lesser narcissists become better narcissists when they get in the group and decide to abuse together. So it really doesn't make sense to sit up on any type of panel and argue with a bandit. I would say if you are have a specific, you need to have an agenda. So your agenda cannot be to educate the dusty or the bandit. That's not a viable agenda. If your agenda is to show Black women some aspect of this pathology, then I say by all means do it. If you need to show other women the pathology and you are very agenda focused, then do it as you see fit. Stay on your mission, stay on your target, but don't come on these panels with these bandits and try to reason with them some way, shape, or form, because it's not a good use of your time and feminine energy. Because you're going to be tired and then they're going to just still be bandits. And they're going to be happy and satisfied that they got you riled up. Like they will brag to their friends about how they made you upset and like, oh, they still care about us, even though you don't. But if you get mad, they think you do. They think you do. They think you care. So they just want any type of reaction, any type of strong reaction that you would be willing to give them. They're here for it. They're all the way here for it. So, I got to go attend to my baby, but I do want to thank y'all for tuning in. Thank you to the mods. Thank you to everyone who participated. I'm sorry that I wasn't as interactive with the chat as I normally am, but just forgive me. It's the end of the day, and maybe I'll be more interactive next time. But I do appreciate your contributions, and I do trust that y'all had some very powerful dialogue amongst each other. And I just want to say that I appreciate you. Thank you for liking and subscribing, and y'all have a great day. Peace.